finally, this was cool, but finally we get to talk about something I've been obsessed with for the past few days. That is one of the biggest games, Pokemon. Been a franchise for a long time, one of the biggest gaming franchises of all time. It's got some competition. I think it's got some competition now because Palworld is out. Over 1 million PAL tamers in only 8 hours. I think it released another thing that says, I think like 6 million. But look at this. Palworld has the highest concurrent player count of any paid game in the history of Steam. You can't believe it. Thank you so much to everyone. We really cannot thank you enough. Palworld, all-time peak. Outdoing Cyberpunk and Elden Ring, New World, Hogwarts Legacy. Look at all these people. Wow, I can believe Valheim at 500,000. But look at that current 1.1 million users concurrently right now. I'm actually surprised the game hasn't crashed at all, but I guess that's allowing people to have their own servers really helps. But not everyone is happy with the success of Palworld here. We got plenty of articles to go over, and Palworld could be delightful if it wasn't so invested in being awful. This is from PC Gamer by Lincoln Carpenter. 3 days ago, I was more obligated to keep an eye on Palworld because he's been playing Pokemon on and off for 4/5 of my time on Earth. I'm a card-carrying drawer fortress weirdo, which Palworld's lead dev has cited as his favorite game. Of course, Palworld, lucky to arrive in a world where Switch's proper Pokemon games are as rough as they've ever been, with the open world Scarlet and Violet visibly tearing itself apart at the seams. I like this quote, Palworld might have me soaring over a generic Unreal 5 landscape on the back of a knockoff Charizard, but for a brief moment, it's a glimpse of what an open world Pokemon could be. One that isn't flickering in and out of existence whenever you're arrogant enough to move. I think this really is one of the most damning parts of Palworld is like, it is super generic, but it actually works. And I mean, Pokemon, you've seen tons of bugs. It looks good, but the problem is like, it's generic. But when you compare it to Pokemon is a generic, but it doesn't look good. Like all Pokemon had to do was come out with a good-looking world, a good-looking concept. And I think Palworld kind of like takes Arceus, the sort of gameplay, that sort of open-world gameplay that Arceus kind of showed off, but adds a bunch of other stuff to it. And it kind of gives you a very Pokemon-like game with a lot of different features too. It really makes it feel like a really 3D game. Yeah, South Sudan is dead, but Alpha is next level militia. Absolutely. Then, of course, he kind of goes, this guy article, I won't read the whole thing. He kind of goes on Pokemon with guns. It certainly does. In a lot of cases, Palworld isn't mimicking pieces. I mean, he kind of goes on to say, like, yes, it does copy, and I'll discuss that later. There's a lot more examples of them copying Pokemon. Doesn't have any problems. I can't say. Let's see. Here's where he kind of goes on to say, I can't say I'm particularly disappointed with the lack of more gun-tending pals. Palworld seems self-conscious about it. In my dozen of hours with Palworld, I felt like it was struggling to fill the shock humor quota that its marketing set, and ended up weighing down the pieces that could otherwise be built better. Advance the game, advancing my base requires supernatural talents of my pals. Finding new pals in the wilderness and matchmaking building niches is a mental puzzle I enjoyed. It is a lot of fun. There's a lot of factors to juggle. The problem is juggling the act turns into a slog. I'm not sure if it so that the game can deliver a bad punchline. Palworld isn't really asking what if Pokemon had guns. Palworld is asking what if I could mangle Pokemon beneath the inevitable crushing weight of industry. It's not tongue-in-cheek. It's mid-2000s Newgrounds edgelord. This is where I kind of have a problem with the writer of this. And then, of course, the board is slanted towards getting me to abuse my pals. So that's the fun of the game, is abusing your pals. We get these cute creatures and you get to put them to work like you're some sort of plantation owner smelting ore. Of course, you can you can monitoring standard you can build to increase my pal's work rate from normal to cruel or even brutal. Looking works faster to work faster, increases their sanity depletion. They have sanity. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of like a weird thing. Maybe that's funny for somebody. I don't know, man. I aged out of shock humor a decade or two ago. I'm not convinced it's enough to sustain a game once the influencer's attention shifts elsewhere. Influencer attention. So it's only successful because influencers are telling people to. Even if I can change the world settings to multiply resources and protection rate, Palworld would be better off spending more time and effort finding an interesting way to deploy its pals. The game default trickle of resource rates means the faster way for me to get my up next upgrade is to capture pals, just to harvest them with a censored butchering animation. Only makes me wish I wasn't wasting my time in the first place. He's very mad. Poor Nathan, or poor Lincoln Carpenter here is upset that you're cruel to your pals. He aged out. He's a very mature guy. He aged out of that sort of edgy humor a long time ago. But there's other people not mad necessarily about the animal cruelty. There is, these people that are little wusses mad about the cruelty of the pals. But there's also Pokemon fans are not happy. Not happy at all. Palworld, of course, people are going to repeat the Pokemon with guns. Tom's most played game. But this on IGN, our pal Wesley Yinpool has kind of... I don't know if I want to call this an article because it's a guy posting a bunch of tweets. So, but he did a good job of kind of aggregating some of this stuff about Pokemon fans pointing out that this game is a ripoff of Pokemon, which, I mean, I'm not really going to argue against in a way, but you can kind of see here, this is Garmeowth's face. And this is, of course, one of the pals. This is a Pokemon for Meowth. So I got to be honest, wasn't like this in My Neighbor Totoro too. Let's be real. Of course, this is a Score Bunny. This is a pal, and I'm saying like, oh, they took different elements of this and added to it. Which, I mean, isn't this like all artwork? All art being derivative. This is Depresso. This is that guy. They do look very similar. I'll be fair in this. Yeah, I can definitely see the resemblance with Meganium. And then, of course, Ligant. This is Robin Quill from the PAL deck. Looks very much like Dulcey. And this is a fan art of a Mega Delphox. This is an actual PAL. Here. So, and of course, this looks a lot like Lucario. I can definitely see the resemblance. Of course, you'll be pointing out different things here. Then on top of Power Mountain, heavily referencing copying for Pokemon won't harm the Pokemon Company. I don't think people are arguing that. What does come off as kind of shady and lazy. Make something original. And then over here, we got this guy is super mad. I'm the exact opposite of a Nintendo stand or an ARC stand. This is where you say, oh yeah, I'm impartial, but Think Power will make tens of millions of dollars off the most blatant, creative, bankrupt, poorly put together asset flip game is so depressing. Their entire company strategy seems to be theft. Ooh. And then of course this is kind of a good comparison here where you can see that is a PAL design. This is the Pokemon. And you can kind of see there's definitely some inspiration here. Definitely heavy inspiration on some of these designs. But hey, like I said, it's not all artwork derivative. I don't know about the UI saying this kind of copied each other. Like, I guess so. But UI is UI. It's not exactly a huge thing. How many different ways can you put together something, a tech tree? So this isn't even about stolen or borrowed content either. The entire game is compromised of Unreal 5 default assets and barely functioning animations. But I think reeks of pump this game out and make some quick bucks, make it some quick millions before it dies off. He thinks this is just, a cash grab here. Let's see. I haven't seen this video. What happens? Punching it. And then, of course, there's someone kind of defending Palworld, or kind of making the point, hey, can I copy your homework? Sure. Just make it look different. This is Dragon Quest, and this, of course, is Pokemon. Dragon Quest coming out before Pokemon, and it kind of shows like, hey, look at all these similar designs here. Did they rip off Dragon Quest? It kind of makes the kind of raises the question, like, some of the stuff from Japanese culture just going to show up in kind of different ways across different works. Like I said before, like, all art is kind of derivative in a way. And here's Dragon Quest to Pokemon. I can kind of see it. I can kind of see it here. I think they probably did a little bit better job than Palworld did comparing it to Pokemon to make it look good. But here's another article. This is by Alex Stedman on IGN. And of course, showing off that you can, in fact, capture human beings. This is from Coney, popular streamer. And you just captured a... Well, let's see. Throw your Pokeball, and you can capture human beings in Palworld, and then put them to work on your in your base.
A captured human on Palpagos Island. Captured.
Then, of course, also shows off that this is showing off here. You can butcher.
Never mind. You can butcher the human. Never mind. You can definitely butcher the human.
You can butcher the captured human as well. And then some people getting mad about this. Literally, 4 tweets have been saying that being able to catch and sell humans Palworld is a good thing and a reason to buy the game. Yeah, it's funny. Look how much I'm laughing about it. I'll enjoy it. Palworld letting you capture people. Big on the game. Palworld letting you capture people to do human trafficking. But Pablo telling you that that setting human trafficking is illegal and taboo is really an incredible video game moment, huh? It definitely is. Like, it's inhumane, but we're not going to stop you from doing it. It's just the joy of video games. Is that it lets you do stuff you wouldn't normally do. Then, of course, I've been playing Palworld recently, and I thought maybe I should give my Palworld review. Now we've gone over some of the stuff in Palworld. I've been playing it for several hours here. And I mean, the criticisms that there's a lot of stuff that nothing really original in this game is pretty true. Like, it is a really odd game in the fact that, I forgot I had some of my voice on us. The fact that, like I said, like, none of it's like really original. Like, from like, you look at the sort of setting itself, like, it's very generic default assets. The pals themselves seem heavily inspired by Pokemon. You look at like a lot of the animation stuff. A lot of this stuff's nothing really unique. None of it seems like super high quality either. I think really the only thing that's kind of unique about Palworld is sort of like the sort of absurdity of combining Pokemon with weaponry and like allowing you to sort of fight, butcher Pokemon, enslave them, capture humans. Sort of like, again, this sort of bizarre. It's almost like an X factor in this game. That's like sort of the absurdity of the juxtaposition of Pokemon with firearms and killing them. I mean, obviously they have this sort of like, "Ooh, I'm knocked out" animation, but you're essentially killing them. But and then they kind of add in this sort of base building aspect to it, and like this resource management part of it too. But despite all the stuff that like kind of like so I've had people ask me like, hey, is it worth it? Does it seem like sort of like this like shady cash grab? And I'm like, a way it like has the look of that. There's nothing about it that like screams like, whoa, this is just really well made. It is still in early access, but at the same time, like it's super fun. Like I'm really addicted to the game itself. I'm really enjoying playing the game. Despite like all this stuff that like there's really no part of the game that really stands out as like superb. Like this is excellent. Like I said, like the setting super generic. The pals, which it's so amazing like talking to other people about the game, because like pal and Pokemon like almost come out as the same exact word. I mean, you could tell it's like in the mind, the human mind. They're just interchangeable. Maybe that's just because of the way Pokemon sort of shaped monster, this sort of like genre of anything involving capturing and trading monsters become Pokemon. I mean, it just has a very Pokemon look. And in spite of all this sort of like generic, mid-quality, like good enough, quality artwork, you have, like I said, a really fun game that's just enjoyable to play. I'm killing that poor Rudy. Like I said, the only unique thing I can think about the game is just sort of like the ridiculousness of the game itself is kind of like its most unique, I think, fun aspect of it. But once you like get into the game with the base building, the resource management, just the ability to kind of like run around and capture pals, I think there really is, solid systems there that really let you enjoy the game, and it's got a very addictive quality to it. It's, like I said, Palworld is good. It's a good game, and for $30, it's a game you can easily get your money's worth out of. And I hope they'll continue to support the game, and they've definitely generated enough resources to do that. Let's see, it's already too fleshed out, and there are a few bugs to be considered a cash grab. Yeah, that is like, there's none of it's like super amazing and super polished, but there's enough there that it's like, you can clearly kind of see the concept of the game there, and hopefully they'll add in some more systems to it, but there's clearly enough content that it's not meant to be like, here, we'll just take your money, and then I like, Ryan Stone's here. I like when the amount of fun you can sink into the game is a metric. Definitely. Yeah, it's definitely not a cash grab. I think they did enough work here. It is just such a weird game to kind of like talk about, because I think all the criticisms of it being like kind of like a derivative is totally true. But again, there's still something like bizarrely unique that I can't quite put my finger on. Like, as you can see, like this dead direwolf floating in the air on the screen, like bobbing up and down, the body bobbing up and down while I try and capture another direwolf. It's just so unreal, and that I just enjoy so much about it. It just delights me so much. Or like seeing like your chickpea or like lamb bull, like its dead body just ragdoll down a giant cliff. It's goofy in such a fun way. I just enjoy it. It has a something delightful to it that I just can't put my finger on. And of course, like I said, the systems are good enough that you enjoy playing it. Even if it's just for maybe 30, 40 hours, I think it's still enough of a game to be worth your time. I have, fallen through the map several times, especially after my server restarted. Luckily, I wasn't completely stuck. I saw Tom get stuck after he respawned in a wall and wasn't able to get out. Had to respawn again. So there is like a lot of rough edges to this game. But I think even like, something like Valheim, where it was kind of rough and unpolished, but still, you could see the fun underneath it, and like the concept of the game itself was good enough to carry it through and past these bugs, which it definitely, Palworld definitely does. Like even the base managing aspect of it, yeah, you can sink so much of your time into it, and then you still have, and you know, once you get past that, you even still have like, it's really kind of like fun. Like I said, looking at the world, it's like it is like you can really tell it's UE5. This could be like Sonic Frontiers, right directly into Sonic Frontiers, but it's still fun because like you have the pals around. Like, oh, will I meet a new pal? Will I see something like a shiny? You never know what you're gonna find as you kind of explore the world. And there's even, you know, more challenging areas and new pals that I haven't fought in yet. So there's that. There's still hours and hours of gameplay. So for me, Palworld is definitely a solid game, worth the time. And I personally find the shock humor, unlike that other guy that apparently is too good for that Newgrounds edgelord stuff. I find it quite fun. The idea of that I'm chasing this fox right now, trying to beat it with a baseball bat. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a simple man, but I find something really, really fun about beating these cute Pokemon to death with baseball bats or shooting them to death with crossbows. Maybe I'll get sick of it after 20 hours into it, but right now I'm just enjoying the hell out of doing it. Maybe it'll never get old. Maybe beating cute things to death with a baseball bat never quite gets old, but we'll see. We'll find out. And that's the fun that Palworld lets you have. So that's, I guess, where we're going to end it. Palworld, fun game. Play it. Gaben has won the console war. PC just seems like it's getting stronger and stronger. I'm looking forward to see, but the question is, will we own any of our PC games? I think the stronger and stronger PC games get, it's already with Steam kind of dominating the market. People are used to just downloading it on there and playing it through Steam. So physical ownership, who knows what lies in store here. It hasn't happened to me yet, Santiago, but it's true. You can capture people. Just did. Man, they don't discriminate. Yeah, it is fun when games let you do some really morally questionable things. And you can capture them, butcher them, put them to work on your, making your stuff. They're not super useful, so they don't encourage you to do it. But the fact that you can do it is pretty funny. Though most of the time they seem pretty bugged out when you use them in battle. All right, guys, that's it for the stream. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for stopping by. Be sure to like and share. We're getting close to getting I've got
enough subs
for monetization, or at least the super chats and the memberships. I just need to get the watch hours up, so I'll definitely be seeing copies of this podcast, got little clips of it going up. I'm hoping to get out a new Minosphere video soon, but of course Palworld's kind of been obstructing me from doing that. All right, guys, that's it. I'm gonna end it for this time. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.